The Harmony Project brings together local service providers working towards ending sexual violence in our community. Our work focuses on education, awareness, prevention, training, and support services. One of our most successful ways of engaging our community has been through our Got Consent campaigns. Consent is something that is practiced every day. It's the foundation for all positive relationships and interactions, whether they're sexual or not. We all have our own preferences, personal boundaries, and limits. We asked some of the community members to share how they practice everyday consent.
I practice consent every day by respecting my children's body boundaries and allowing them to decide who they want to hug and when, and never requesting that they do so.
Apoyando a mis amigos para que establezcan sus propios límites.
Practico consentimiento mutuo cada vez que pregunto a mi vecina si quiere ir de paseo.
I ask people if they are willing to think a little differently about a subject before volunteering any dissenting view.
I practice consent by ensuring equipment is available for use before taking it.
We teach our kids consent by enforcing that no and stop are important words and should be honored.
I practice consent by asking people's permission before I take their photo.
I practice consent every day by asking and not assuming if I can share my partner's fries.
I practice consent every day by only hugging my niece if she gives me permission.
I practice consent in the workplace by asking permission before sharing personal information about others.
I practice consent every day because it's the right thing to do.
In our family, we practice consent by talking about what it means often.
I never give out my employees' schedules or phone numbers without their consent.
I practice everyday consent by asking before I pet someone's dog.
I practice everyday consent by always asking first before I give someone a hug.
I practice consent by asking my partner what level of intensity they are comfortable with.
In montagna, prima di prendere decisioni, si chiede il consenso al compagno di cordata.
Je pratique le consentement en confirmant que vous souhaitez recevoir mon aide avant de l'offrir.
I practice everyday consent by always asking my friends before I tag them in a social media post.
I ask my coworkers if they're available to talk before asking them a question.
I practice consent every day by communicating my feelings.
I practice everyday consent by asking if anyone has food allergies or preferences before serving them food.
I always ask my brother if it's okay to have a sword fight before swinging.
By practicing consent in everyday situations, you show that you value and respect the choices of others. Maybe it feels a bit awkward or weird at the start, but just like a muscle that we're learning to use, it will only get more comfortable and strong with practice. Now it's your turn to reflect. How do you practice everyday consent?